Production funding for Flying Squirrels Insider is made possible in part by
Clean water is one of our most valuable resources. Conserving it should be all of our responsibility. Remember every day to make every drop count. Wash full loads, take shorter showers, turn off your faucet. Water, use it wisely. Let's commit to conserve.
The Flying Squirrels are off to their best start ever, and they are doing it their own way. Jay and Sam break down the team's historically hot start and explain why Willie Ball is putting the fun in Funnville. Also, we take a special look at the newest renovation at the Diamond, built just for the smallest Squirrels fans. Plus, outfielder Ronnie Jebavy visits FSI Field to talk about his strong defensive start to the season and break down a few of his highlight catches. Flying Squirrels Insider starts right now.
And welcome back to Flying Squirrels Insider. We have a whole lot in store for you today. How about them red-hot Richmond Flying Squirrels? We'll get into it with Sam Ravitch here in just a little bit. We also have what's new at the Diamond for some new families and some of the best defensive plays you've ever seen coming up with Ronnie Jebavy in a little bit. But first, we'd like to remind you that Richmond Flying Squirrels Insider is brought to you by Utility Buddy from the City of Richmond Department of Public Utilities. They make us aware of rain that falls on hard surface areas, and they can pick up pollutants and carry them to Richmond's waterways without being treated. Help keep our waterways stay clean. Call 646-7000 or visit richmondgov.com and click Stormwater Utility. Also, if you want to win free stuff, my man Sam's got you covered. Just text us. Text FSI to 63975 with MS and data rates may apply. Mobile services provided by Opt-in Technologies. With that said, it's been a solid start to the Flying Squirrels. Sam, some might say the best start in team history.
Well, by winning percentage, it is the best start in franchise history. 14 wins, it doesn't get much better than that. You can't start much better than the Flying Squirrels did.
2014, the Flying Squirrels won 14 games in the month of April. What happened?
Well, this year it's just been everybody has been contributing to this team win. I think when you look at the pitching staff, when you look at the home runs, the run production, everybody's contributing. Even though the batting average started around 200, that's to be expected. But the pitching picked up the offense.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, the pitching has been a little bit of the offense for the Richmond Flying Squirrels. In case you weren't there on opening night, April the 13th, Jordan Johnson had one stellar performance, not only earning the victory for the Flying Squirrels, but Sam, hitting a home run.
He's hit 2 home runs in 3 at-bats so far this season. It's amazing to see what he's been able to do at the plate. And by the way, a guy who didn't even hit in college, we asked him when the last time you hit. He said back in high school. He hadn't really picked up a bat until he got to Double-A, Jay. It's really amazing what he's been able to do.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Johnson at the top of the rotation for the Richmond Flying Squirrels. You know, you and I were talking before the season saying, look, if this team's going to have some success, they're going to need him to take that next step. He's a guy that was in the rotation all of last season, and it feels as though that fastball has a little bit extra life to it. The curveball is diving and, of course, doing it at the plate as well. He joins Craig Westcott of the Flying Squirrels as the only pitcher to have 2 home runs in the same season, and he's not even close to through.
Yeah, there's a couple pitchers who rake in the Flying Squirrels history like Craig Westcott, but Jordan Johnson just seems like every time he gets a fastball, he's trying to hit a home run, which, you know, to his credit, he's been able to do. Yeah. So why not keep doing it?
Flying Squirrels off to a hot start in first place in the Western Division, and doing so under the tutelage of first-year manager Willie Harris, who is known for his legs and defense during his heyday, and the Squirrels have brought that type of mentality to this team. And in fact, Sam, to borrow a line from the boss, this team was born to run.
They were born to run, and they have the people and the tools to do it. Whereas in the past, I don't think they necessarily had the guys that you could say, here, you get on first base, you have the green light to take off. Now they have those guys, and they have those pieces. When you have guys like Matt Lipka and Ronnie Jebavy, who we'll see from later in the show, these guys can run, and they like to run as well. So why not give them the green light? And they've been pretty successful at stealing bases this year.
It's been a very aggressive start to the season for the Richmond Flying Squirrels. I think the fans have enjoyed this type of ball, too. Well, Willie ball.
Yeah, why not? I mean, look, this is the most exciting baseball that I think you may have seen at the Diamond in a couple of years now. They hit a lot of home runs, 21 home runs in the month of April. They steal a lot of bases. They make great defensive plays, and they pitch well, which is going back to what I was saying. The overall complexion of this team is very solid, and they have all the tools to be a really solid team heading down the stretch of the season.
Second in the league in home runs, second in the league in stolen bases. That gives you a team with power and speed, a dangerous combination. But they've also got a guy, we're going to talk with Ronnie Jebavy, as you mentioned, who you feel is that prototypical leadoff guy, but he might not even be the fastest guy on the team. The Flying Squirrels and the Giants acquiring this past offseason former first-round selection from the Atlanta Braves, Matt Lipka. He might be the fastest guy on this team.
Jay, Matt Lipka stole 37 bases in 2013, excuse me. He may be doing something similar to that this season. He's already got 8. And, you know, he's a guy that realizes I need to get on base because I have so much speed. So he's been able to walk and get on base. Although he does have the bat, we've seen him hit a home run already this season. He's able to get on base for these Flying Squirrels and then steal bases, get himself into scoring position, and all they need is a single to bring him in.
Is this term overused? But I think with a guy like Lipka, glue guy is apparent, you know, really solid in the clubhouse, a guy that can do a lot of little things to make this team successful.
By the way, Matt Lipka is absolutely hilarious. I don't know if you've seen him in the clubhouse, but he's telling jokes all over the place. He's really keeping it light in the clubhouse, and I think that's one of the reasons they've been able to be so successful is Matt Lipka and like guys like him are very glue guys in the locker room. They can pick somebody up if they're having a bad game, or they can instruct a couple of players. I mean, Lipka, a compensation a first rounder a couple of years ago. So, you know, he has the tools to get to the next level, and he's helping guys out around him, too.
You mentioned those 37 stolen bases for him. That occurred while he was with Lynchburg in the Braves system, also, of course, in the Commonwealth. All right, so the Squirrels off to a good start. The averages have begun to pick up with guys like Jonah Arenado and Jerry Sands. Those are two guys that manager Willie Harris will expect to really thump in the middle of the order.
Well, and that's what we were talking about on the Flying Squirrels pregame show just a couple of days ago. Guys like Arenado and guys like Jerry Sands, but also Dylan Davis. These guys at the 5, 6, 7 spot in the Flying Squirrels order, if they can start to produce, get on base, and bring those averages up to, you don't even need them to hit, 280, 290. If they can hit right around 250, they have the power and the extra base hits to bring runners in. And I think, with Dylan Davis hitting 5 home runs this season, I think that's going to go up.
Davis had 10 home runs all of last year with the Richmond Flying Squirrels, so starting to take those steps forward as the power hitter that the Giants hoped he would be coming out of Oregon State. The Squirrels have already had a couple of players promoted to AAA. Matt Gage back up to AAA Sacramento, and Dustin Knight, a guy that we hardly got a chance to know, but he was such a key component for this bullpen early on.
Yeah, Dustin Knight was able to give the Flying Squirrels innings out of the bullpen, and not only just innings, quality innings. He was able to come in, get 1, 2, 3 innings, sit opponents down, and get the offense back up to the plate. So now the Squirrels are going to see a younger guy, and Will LaMarche get his first chance up at AA. And we saw him a couple of nights ago. He was very productive, 1, 2, 3 back-to-back innings. So yeah. LaMarche just kind of filling in the shoes of Dustin Knight.
And the Squirrels have a plethora of options to close out games. In fact, they have one of the leaders in saves in Caleb Simpson, a guy that's battled injuries over the course of his career. He's been closing out games. Oh, by the way, you have the guy that was amongst the league leaders last year, Tyler Sear. And don't forget Ray Black, a guy that I feel is going to pitch in the major leagues before this season ends.
I would agree with you on all counts, Jay. I think when you have the kind of weapons that the Squirrels have in the back end of the bullpen, guys like Ray Black, guys like Tyler Sear, who had 18 saves here last year, guys like Caleb Simpson, who can throw 98 miles an hour if he needs to. Not many teams have those kind of weapons where you can say, who do I want to go to today? Sometimes it's 1, maybe 2 guys. The Squirrels have the luxury of having 3 guys in the bullpen that they can call upon to come and give them saves.
Yeah, without question. So if one guy is down after pitching back-to-back nights, you can call upon the other guy. And that's really led the Squirrels to their record because they've been so successful in close games, winning one-run contests, scoring first. That's been the repertoire for this team so far.
The 7-3 in one-run games, Jay. We were talking about it too. When the Squirrels score first at home, they are now 8-1. They've been so successful when they're able to just get 1 or 2 runs on the board. The bullpen and the starting pitching staff has been able to limit the runs for opponents, and that's another reason and key component why they have been able to win so many games this year.
Feels like a little bit of a different energy at the ballpark this year, doesn't it?
I think so. I think the energy from the fans that the fans are bringing to the ballpark is a little bit different. And Jay, this is a winning team. People like to win. You like to see baseball teams win, and sometimes it's forgotten about even at the minor league level because it's all about production and getting to the next level and adding another tool to your 5-tool program. Well, you also want to win games, and I think it's a lot more exciting for fans when you come in and you win games.
And you want to see pitchers hit dingers, right? I mean,
well,
does Jordan Johnson have another one in him this season?
I think so.
Okay.
They're not going to pitch him a fastball again.
No, absolutely not. The Squirrels off to their best start in franchise history, and they're back at home this upcoming week for the fans, and it certainly seems as though manager Willie Harris pitching coach Glenn Dishman, hitting coach Francisco Morales, all in their first year here in the RVA, have this team heading in the right direction.
Yeah, and Jay, it's amazing. I was just kind of thinking about that the other day. These guys, of course, have coached before. Willie Harris played for 12 years in the major league, so it's not as if they don't know what they're doing. I mean, these are very experienced guys, but I think they've been able to push the buttons of players and know the kind of players that they have, know where to go, what kind of direction to give, and I think that just goes to show that they're very people-oriented people at the helm for the Squirrels here.
Just getting started. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a blast.
All right. Speaking of being a blast, the Flying Squirrels do everything they can to make the fan experience exciting and comfortable for families at the Diamond, and we got something new in store for you this season. Who's this guy?
This is Carson. He's about 5 weeks old. Newest Squirrels fan.
Newest squirrel. Now, you're a former squirrel.
I am a former squirrel.
What do you think of this Latched Mama's Nursing Nest?
This is awesome. They did way above and beyond. Better than I could have ever thought.
Does a place like this, as a new mother, does a place like this kind of entice you to say, hey, maybe I'll have a place to go at a public event?
Yeah, so one of the biggest challenges with these little guys is planning to get out of the house.
Yeah.
That's one of the hardest things because you have to plan around when they're going to eat and then you get them in there. It's really nice knowing that I was going to come to a lot of Squirrels games, that's not a challenge at all. The biggest thing I think is having like a quiet little retreat to go to, because when you're out there with almost 10,000 people, you're not going to be able to nurse well. Yeah. So it's nice to have this beautiful room to come to.
Now, you've been around minor league baseball quite a while. Clearly, the mother makes the decision, the moms make the decision to come out to a game, usually for the family.
Right.
Don't you think this helps the Flying Squirrels and families come out and have a good time?
Yeah, it's something that's probably really overdue, and shame on us for not thinking of it ourselves many years ago, and someone else had to come and think of it for us, but I'm glad we had the area and we were able to accommodate. But, we're always espousing family entertainment, and last surveys I saw, I think 52% of our fans are female. So it's very important part of what we do here, and I'm glad we're able to do that.
Some fans might not know this, but this wasn't always the team store, was it?
No, Jay, when we arrived here in the summer of 2009 to assess the stadium and see if we really wanted to move the Norwich Navigators to Richmond, we did a walkthrough of the entire stadium, and then we came in to this area. And we learned quickly that it used to be a restaurant. Yeah. And it was a 3-tiered restaurant. We're on the first tier, and then the second tier, and then there's a third tier that was a bar. And we assessed immediately, at least I did, that this should be the team store, because up until then, they had a shed at the top of the steps, and it was much too small.
And we left a little nook sort of untapped until now for the Latched Mama's Nursing Nest. How cool is this? I mean, you actually consult for a lot of different teams, a lot of different ballparks. Right. Does any other team have something like this?
I have not seen anything like this. And it's perfect because there was a men's and women's room that were there because of the restaurant use prior, and they just kind of got forgotten back there. Yeah. And now, we're able to repurpose it, and I love what we do here at the stadium. It's one of my favorite parts of what I do in this industry is repurposing areas or just making areas out of almost thin air. Right. And this is great that we've been able to do that here.
We had a couple of moms reach out to us last summer, just kind of as nursing people in RVA, and they basically said to us, hey, we love the Squirrels, we love coming out with our families, but at the end of the day, we really, really don't want to nurse or pump in a bathroom or a first aid tent or something like that.
I think this is the nicest thing I've ever seen in a ballpark, by the way. What do we have here for some of the kids to do and for some of the parents to do?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a one kind of meeting room that has enough room for probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 moms to come in. There's an outlet at each station for charging phones, absolutely, important. For also pumping, which is something that can kind of sometimes be awkward in a public setting. And then we also have a toddler table because sometimes moms have more than one kid. So, and we have some fun coloring sheets, some awesome squirrel crayons that came from Etsy. There is water in the mini fridge, and the mini fridge is there for any pumping moms who want to just leave their milk and come back and get it at the end of the game. There's also a gorgeous redone bathroom with a changing table. There's diapers and wipes in there as well. And then for the moms who want a little bit more privacy, or the moms that have the toddler that maybe has had a little bit too much Italian ice or something like that at the game that's kind of not sitting still in this area, there's an actually separate nursing room as well.
Does something like this entice moms, new moms, moms that have, with children that are even a year or two old? Does this entice somebody to come to a game?
Yeah, and I think it does even more than that. I think when you create a space like this, you're saying, hey, you know what? We are committed to welcoming all of our fans, whether it's the little infants or whether it's the 2-year-olds or the 3-year-olds or whether it's the moms that used to go to the ballpark with their young kids, but now see that you guys have created this space and that we've, together created something so beautiful that, they feel appreciated and they feel like, more committed to the brand and more committed to the squirrels.
Now, this stems from a larger mission that you had, which is the Latched Mama brand. Can you tell us a little about what that is?
So we're an e-commerce store, and we have a very, very large online community, and we have people reach out to us a lot in terms of like where they're feeling discriminated against or where they're feeling like they're not quite being supported. And a lot of times we just, give them some resources and send them on their way. When it's local moms, we kind of react a little bit differently. There was one thing that I believe you guys call him Ruckman around here, but Steve told me in our first meeting. He said, "We know we have an old ballpark, but our fans should not have to suffer." Yeah. And that was the coolest thing.
Are we safe to say this is the coolest nursing space in professional baseball?
No. Top 5. We were definitely top 5. Pampers put in a nursing suite at the Red Stadium, which we can't touch. It's Pampers, for crying out loud. And Lanisau, which is a pumping breastfeeding company, has a great one up at National Stadium. We are top 5 in Major League by far, if not top 3. So minor league,
number 1
by far.
Welcome back to FSI Field here as Flying Squirrels Insider continues. We've got a special guest joining us, Flying Squirrels center fielder Ronnie Jebavy. Ronnie, thanks for being here today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Been a pretty good start to the season so far for you guys, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think you told us that it was the best that we've had in
Ever.
All right. Yeah, so then, good start.
It feels like, and Sam and I were talking about this at the Open, that there's a sort of a different brand of baseball under manager Willie Harris. How would you describe it?
He just wants us to play our game. He just kind of gives us free rein to, if you want to steal bags or if you want to bunt or whatever you want to do, he just kind of lets you play your game. But so that makes everybody kind of play loose and just not think that they have to do something more than what they are. So, and then if he sees something that he wants us to do, then he'll do it. But other than that, he just kind of lets us play. As
a base stealer, has there, been conversations with him for you about how to kind of improve that aspect of your game, which, by the way, has been phenomenal to start the season?
I think the main thing that he told me was just go. Don't be scared to go. Don't be scared to get thrown out. Just go, because, if you're standing on first base and not going, then how are you going to steal a bag? So.
Stealing, bunting, defense, which we'll get into a little bit, is part of your game, but it's taken you a little time to get to this point, going back to your early days coming out of high school. Apparently you weren't as highly heralded as some of the other guys.
I wasn't bad in high school, but I wasn't like a top recruit or something. Like, I just had a couple small schools and junior colleges, and then I went to junior college at Columbia State, and it actually ended up being the best thing that I could have done. So
yeah,
I was happy that I wasn't this big name guy.
Kind of developed you a little bit, and
sure.
You were able to then transfer to your hometown, Murfreesboro, and MTSU.
Yeah.
What was that experience like playing at home?
That was pretty cool. Just because I got to go away, get a little bit of like being away from home, and then coming back for that 1 year was pretty special. And then having like my family and stuff that got to come to games all the time was nice.
Has defense, has we're going to see some of these catches that you made, but has that always sort of been part of your repertoire?
Yeah, that's always been first on my baseball skills, I guess you would say. it's how I've always played, and how my brother played, even how my grandfather played. Watching him play men's league softball at like 65, he was out there diving for balls. So I think going back to then, like that's always how I've wanted to play, just going all out for everything.
What's it like playing at the Diamond as a center fielder?
It's fun. I mean, it's a big park, and balls in the gaps in center field don't really get out, so it gives me a chance to catch them all, so I like it.
And you've got guys that can sort of cover some ground with you, including Matt Lipka, who apparently is as fast, if not faster than you. Huh?
He's a little bit faster, but let's not get carried away.
You think we can have like a dash between you and him at some point this season?
Maybe if he's up for it.
You've been hitting leadoff, and you've been kind of shuffled around the order a little bit. Is there a difference for you in terms of hitting at first to open up the game or hitting seventh in the order?
Yeah, it's a little different. I mean, obviously you have to be ready to go right off the bat, but no pun intended.
Yeah.
Lead off, you kind of want to you want to see a couple pitches and let everybody see what the guy's got. But I mean, regardless of where I am, you got to compete while you're hitting. So.
Do you have the best hair on the team, or does Sean Anderson sort of eclipse you there?
I mean, I like Sean, but
yeah.
My hair's better.
I would agree. I think it looks great. Your defense has been outstanding. Are you excited about looking at some of these plays that you made this past week?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we're going to take a look at those. We're back with more here. Coming up next on Flying Squirrels Insider, see what's happening at the Diamond, and then Ronnie and I will dissect some of those phenomenal defensive plays he's made this year. All right, we're back here at FSI Field. Ronnie's going to take us through this clip. Now, Garrett Williams is on the mound. Garrett Hampson is at the plate. You're in center field. Can you start with what your first motion is as a defender before the pitch is even thrown?
Yeah. Well, before every pitch, I just want to get in like an athletic position and kind of time up. As if I'm hitting, I time up Garrett as he's pitching. So I just kind of step into it, and then like right as it's about to get hit, I can like tell if it's going to go one way or the other. I feel like I can read the ball before it actually gets hit, if that makes sense.
Based on where the pitcher is throwing it?
Yeah, based on where the pitch is, and then you can kind of read the swing. So like if I see that it's like away, then I'll like.
So you're already springing as the
as it's like going into the hitting zone. I mean, it might not actually be doing that, but that's what it feels like.
We'll be watching closely next time, right? So let's play this clip here and just take an eye on you in center field, saving a big hit in a crucial moment. Take us through this. Did you know you had it all the way?
I knew I had a chance off the bat, but it kind of kept going on me. But I mean, I guess it kind of hung up a little bit. I mean, as you know, in this field, there's always a chance that it stays in. So, yeah, I guess just the first step is really the most important.
Let's take a look back at it again. I want you to tell me sort of at what point did you recognize that you had to make a dive on this play, and did you calculate that it might not be caught? So now you're thinking here?
So right about here, I was like, all right, I'm going to have to really go for it. I don't know, it just kind of happens, I guess. I don't really think about it. It's just like, I'm going to try to catch it whether I do or not. But
now let's take a look at another clip here. This is sort of you coming in the other way. Both these happened last week, by the way, and there was another one that we don't have on camera here. This is in Bowie with Ray Black on the mound, and you're moving in this time. So again, with that first step.
Yeah, the end ones are actually a little more tough just because they're taking a big swing, so it's usually they mishit it. So like usually my first step might be back a little bit, but then you have to make up ground, obviously. Just because they swing, whenever you swing hard, you expect it to go farther. So
now when you're diving backwards as opposed to forwards, are you still diving in the same manner, or is it a different style?
I'd say the dive forward, I kind of get lower. That way I can, I guess, stay close to the ground and have more chance for error, I guess. And then going back, it's more like an upward dive.
What did Ray say to you after this catch?
He just gave me a high five and said thank you. So.
Now, when you're making a dive like that, do you think in the first one that we saw, I mean, you're diving onto the warning track, that's crushed brick, by the way. Like, is it something you take into account to say, hey, this might hurt, or does it hurt?
I don't think about that. I just, as long as I'm not going to dive into the wall, then I know I'll be fine.
What was the first catch that you made that made people go, wow? Do you remember?
Oh, gosh, I don't know.
Was it in college, in high school?
I mean, I remember as like coach pitch and stuff, I'd dive for balls and catch them. So I don't know. I feel like I've just always kind of had that about me, I guess.
Yeah, now
I don't know.
the one that we don't have here was actually, I think, the best of all the
Yeah,
3
I
plays, and
agree.
you said, "Hey, don't worry, there might be some more this season to catch, huh?"
Yeah, the one that we don't have is a little different because I dove, like this one I kind of dove after I caught it on 1 foot. I was falling, I guess, I don't know. But the other one I actually like jumped and dove.
Like
so.
leaving your feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Who-
that one was better.
Did anybody teach you these skill sets, or is this something they just kind of picked up over the course of your career?
I mean, like I said, I guess just kind of watching like my grandfather play, and then my brothers played like that too. So it's just always been in the blood, I guess. I don't know.
All right, let's see if we can get you one here. All right. Give me a.
What do you want me
How
to
about
do?
you come in? All right. So you're coming in, and the ball's out this far.
I mean, I don't know.
6 inches maybe. You're
Yeah, I
just,
mean, it was probably up there, but I feel like you're gonna get a decent amount with your dive, right?
yeah.
I don't know.
Can you dunk a basketball
Yeah.
with 2 hands?
Kind of.
All right, we're gonna have to see that on another episode. Thanks for being here, Ronnie.
Yeah.
All right, that's it on FSI. Thanks to Sam Ravitch, Ronnie Jebavy, our friends at Latched Mama. A whole lot more happening at the Diamond this season. We hope you check us out at squirrelsbaseball.com. Big thanks to the entire WCVE crew here from the WCVE studios at 23 Sesame Street. Till next time, my name's Jay Burnham saying so long, everybody. Got you. Let me get you 2 hands.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
I should have just dove.
I know.
Production funding for Flying Squirrels Insider is made possible in part by
Smell gas? Act fast. Don't just stand there. Leave the area. Get out. Go where the smell is no longer present and call 911. Making you aware, keeping you safe. We're Richmond's Natural Gas Safety Awareness Program.